not a hero, he's a criminal. Shut up!
Hello, sirs and madams. It's me, your buddy Admiral Teag. Hello to everybody. Welcome to Landman Live. We just got done watching the episode 5, season 2. It had the name was The Pirate Dinner, and this was an outlier for this series. Very different episode and kind of not the easiest episode to figure out. I've got with me Resolute Germ and Crimlon. Crimlon! Welcome to all of you. Hit the like and follow. Even if you come through later, the likes count. You coming through later counts. Every view counts. So thank you for being here. And what can I say? I guess we'll open up with a reaction. This one was real different from the other episodes, in my opinion. Let's go to Germ. Get your opening thoughts on this.
It is definitely different, especially that ending. Surprisingly enough, no one named or killed. For I believe the first time this season.
And the first time ever in Taylor Sheridan. We've put together 7 straight episodes without anyone getting killed really terribly. Although people did die last week, no one's been killed. People have gotten unalived by walking into a gas cloud or whatever, but no one's gotten, there hasn't been any intent behind anything.
Yeah, it certainly is different, but still enjoyable. I think they're setting up for a real big drop. This is the first time I've ever seen Tommy's Day end on a good note. So,
and his Father's Day, both of them end on a good note. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm expecting the other shoe to drop pretty soon.
That might actually be accurate. Let's go to Crimlon. Crimlon, as you watch this episode of Landman, what were your thoughts? And hello, Lombardi, and hello, Buddy. Hello, guys. Tweet out there live. And hello, if you're on the vertical stream, come over to the landscape. We have cookies, and also we don't have any ads on the on that one. So come on by.
Yes, we got cookies and milk over there.
Also, thanks everyone who joined my channel. 3,000 is here.
Teag 3,000, huh?
That's right.
No, I thought it started off pretty well. Started falling off towards the end, and I did think it was very surprising that no one died. I was kind of expecting something to happen. Maybe someone to at least get shot in the leg, someone get maimed a little bit, but nothing.
Right, yeah, it was a low violence episode. It was a high drama episode. My thought was this episode was all over the place, but this might be the only episode I can summon up where we actually saw every last single character of any importance to the show. And also, I thought that maybe it was trying to change acts. It had this scene-changing feeling to it, and it was almost like we got another trip to the old folks' home, and I guess the first thing I would say is we got the old folks' home right this time, but a lot of stuff, starting with Tommy's breakfast with Cooper, the stakes of what is going to be done is they are so high that I might have to call this almost unrelatable. The stakes just got raised to a Dallas level. We're playing with $40 million to start this off. And then Tommy swoops in and tells Cooper that, your idiocy is over. And you know what? MTEX will buy these wells off of you. And I'm jumping in the middle of the episode, but MTEX will buy these wells off of you. And you're in the clear. You don't have to deal with Andy Garcia anymore. And he's like, in that conversation, it becomes clear that Cooper hadn't even made provision for payroll. Then soon after that, we have a room full of lawyers, and they're all naive. The MTEX lawyers haven't done their homework, and Rebecca tries to be a screamy, nasty, crazy bitch because it was a superpower 3 times, and these people just swat her down. No, shut up. And they just tell her to sit down. They do not care. They the people who hold the note on all the offshore oil rights and who loaned her the money. They loaned her $400 million. that is out somewhere in the weeds, and she can't, and the way the money situation is resolved, we go from $40 million being a big deal. By the way, when I charged my credit card up to $600 in college, my father was so much angrier than this father was at Cooper for being $40 million in debt to a freaking Sicario that it strained credulity. And then not too long after, we put the pieces together of this long-standing mystery of where did the MTEX money go? And yeah, we used it, and everything about that makes sense, except that we take like 2 more steps than any sane person would ever take and create, hello, Miss Katonic, it's good to see you. We create a Rube Goldberg machine for for Monty and Cammy's money. And then out of nowhere, really out of nowhere, Nate fastballs in. Cammy's up to her neck in this. She signed everything and she doesn't know. So Monty does a heel turn after death to a terrible human being. I don't know how else to explain it. This episode was a little out of left field, and it was certainly the most intense Landman I had seen.
Age, and he was too weak to leave her.
All right, that was last week's Wonderful Fun. We do have, I guess, one thing that we mentioned from time to time that they do here that doesn't get done in other shows is last week's Previously On does match the show and brings you up to speed in a really good and efficient manner. And it has every week. I mean, because we talk about the Previously Ons, and this came up with Star Trek. With Enterprise, the Previously Ons are the same stuff that was in the episode, but it's alternate takes and sometimes alternate angles and sometimes like alternate dialogue to unify it, but it puts everything together in one piece. In Strange New Worlds, it is unrelated to the other episode and just to enable the episode we're watching. In Landman, it has been pretty on point every time, and I'm not saying that you should just parachute into this show, but you could. They catch you up pretty well. So as we open up the episode, Thomas is like sitting in the backyard looking at the sun, which is kind of his thing. And then Ainsley and Angela show up looking like the devil or the Joker or something insane. They've got these mineral masks on, and I thought maybe Michelle Randolph might have really been like possibly doubled, and maybe just they voiced over, because there was a couple of scenes here in the construction of this episode where, especially the scene here with Allie Larder and Thomas, neither of them are in frame at the same time. Look how far away we go before we show them both in frame. That might not be either of them.
No, it's her. I recognize the chesticles.
Here's the thing. Those are buyable. I mean, I have one on my desk. What do you know? I've bought 4 of these things in my goddamn lifetime. I've been married. I understand the deal, but you know what?
No, those are a
replicable.
custom job. Those are a custom job. Very, very specific.
They're like
I think they're honestly
thumbprints.
I think they're actually what they call high-profile stripper boobs.
They're like fingerprints. You know, a guy can tell from a mile away.
She has basically the boobs on a stick, boob job, but she has a conversation with Thomas. They're both totally okay. I do not believe for 1 minute that this is both of them. Like, they're doubling one of them. They kept both their faces out of frame at the same time for a reason. I think that this is some of the stuff that maybe caused Taylor Sheridan to move on. The idea that we might not have had enough money sort of is in this episode, because I think it's possible that Michelle Randolph was doubled by like a day player and just had just voiced over that person because they had that mask on and it was just worked in for comedy, which means that Taylor Sheridan is good with resource allocation, because as weird as it is, it didn't.
Oh no, that was her.
Kill the story. Okay.
And that mask.
She does peel it off. She peeled it off.
She peels it off, and you can tell because, as Grimlon said, those chesticles are very, very specific.
Well, no, not Ainsley's. Ainsley is more natural looking than Ainsley's the one who I didn't know if she was doubled, but she wasn't. She does peel off the mask. The thing is, we do a few things because we don't have all of our actors in the same place at the same time for a couple of these scenes. So there's Michelle Randolph. I'm just going to say she looks so gorgeous here. Her eyes are a different color, but what do you think? Maybe a little bit like a young Jerry Ryan?
Jerry Ryan was never that good looking.
Wow. Okay, Grimlon, what do you think? We've spent a lot of time hanging out with Michelle Randolph. She was in 1923, and she's in Landman. I've been impressed with her acting the whole time. Let's just take a minute and let our audience enjoy this. She is really beautiful, guys.
Oh no, she's very gorgeous. She's very fit.
She's very, very fit. Yeah, she's about 30, guys. So I mean, it's not that hard for her to be fit, but she's not 18.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you kind of almost could tell. But
this season, you can kind of tell. The height difference is played hard to make her look younger, but I mean, Michelle Randolph's like 28 or 29. She was 28 in 1923, so that was only about a year ago. I just don't know. She is a good actress, though. This character is absolutely nothing like her last character. And then Tommy shows a trait like Thomas. They're like, "What's a buccaneer?" And he's like, "It's like a pirate, but only for here, like only for like the Gulf." Which is something that I didn't even know, and it's more like,
it does have a different meaning in Los Angeles and in New York.
Yes,
and in Tampa.
does.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We replaced the B with an F and the M with a Q. Okay, that's all I'll say. But it's like this. As the morning is going on, we see the various people who live at the rent house. Nate is still kind of down and depressed. Dale has been like struck by lightning and in a good mood for this whole season for no reason. It's because his wife's gone and he lost 30 pounds. That's the only thing I can come up with why Dale's in a great mood all the time. Yesterday, he saw like 10 people die and watched one guy's eyes get burned out.
Hey, divorce is a health miracle.
Yeah.
It'll increase your life by at least half.
Yeah, usually if you hit that point, usually I blame it on the succubus. It's the succubus effect. So yeah, no, definitely you start getting your health and vitality back.
They also, in this episode, they address this actor's changed appearance by asking him if he's on a diet and insisting he must be losing weight because he used to be bigger. And he's Cookie from 1883, for those who don't remember. So he was a bigger guy.
Then he's like 30 pounds heavier in the first season.
Yeah, and he was like 40 to 50 pounds heavier in 1883. He's been losing weight steadily, but it was like a big drop-off right between seasons. You can see in the cast photo we have at the premiere of season 2 how much thinner he is, and he looks great, and good for him. Okay, so Sam Elliott has a little talk with Tommy, and it's just basically about, as TL says to his son Tommy, your life is actually pretty awesome. You shouldn't be too upset about like getting to come home to a beautiful house like this with a wonderful wife and great daughter. And it's just like, man, if you only knew. But Sam Elliott, he's going to have his part in this episode. And then we switch over to our less expensive couple. The only lovers I know who sleep in bed where they are as like a football field away from each other or more. This scene almost felt like it had an intimacy coach. And she was just like, I'm Catholic, so you're going to do the right thing. And it almost seems like all they do is get drunk and maybe like she uses her hand on him or something like that. Like I cannot tell where these characters are. Germ had a more firm belief in where they are in their relationship than me. My feeling is I can't tell where they are. It's unaccessible. I don't think they having sex yet. She's Catholic.
No, she's Mormon. It's all the clothes on and everything.
Oh. Well, yeah, or they could try the hole in the sheet, but it's all weird. This is the first time these two characters to me ever had weird energy, but she is overplaying her hand strongly with all characters throughout this, but does not get called out for it. Cooper gets told to pop the question. Only way I could put it. She reverse pops the question to him.
That's the mistake she made. You don't say that afterwards. You say that right in the middle. Well, I know that's how I was gotten is just don't give. She shouldn't have given him a chance to think. It's just right
Well,
before
I mean-
he just.
I
Hey,
agree,
come
Jeremy.
here,
But he's an idiot. He's an idiot, though.
At this point, unfortunately, in a couple of minutes, we're going to reset the table on Cooper, and his intelligence is going to go into the past. He is going to become either hopelessly naive or got his IQ from his mom, and then he gets hired for a job he should never have. But as you can see, we spend a lot of time with our least expensive actors, letting them just act, and they're pretty good. And then we get our beginning way late into this, and I think every cast member except Tommy has taken a selfie. It looks like a lot of the female characters appear to have taken selfies. And then we just kind of decelerate out of the opening to Tommy and Cooper are meeting at the Patch Cafe. It's morning, so we have the red-haired waitress who combs her hair with firecrackers instead of Barney and Ariana, and that seems to be how it works. This is such a one-horse town. You have to get your breakfast, lunch, and dinner at either the Patch or the Country Club. And if you act out at either one, like it's a social death sentence. At least it's kind of a nice bar. I don't know how to put it. And it's definitely really high end. And at the Patch Cafe, it's kind of the place to work. Although, unless she's making more money, Ariana only walks out today with $20 an hour. It's really unfair, right, guys? But Tommy and Cooper have the talk here, and hey, we just got a call from the planet below, and it sounds like we have a late entry to our episode, to our panel. Here he is. You know him, you love him. It's our man, Radioactive. Hey, buddy.
Hey, finally got here.
You're winded. Didn't you? We beamed more air into your lungs than the transporter beam. You should be fine.
Oh, it was a close call. It was a very close call.
You know what? This was a longer episode. Did it take you a while to get through it? Is that what it was? You're catching up to the end of the episode?
Yeah, I was catching up. Sorry about that.
No problem. This is not a real military. You're allowed to be late. But
Actually
hey,
late.
it was a whiplash of an episode. I thought it was different. Germ also thought it was kind of unique. Krimlon said, yeah, it's kind of a different sort of episode. So I'll open up with that. This one felt different, but why don't you give your impression on this episode, and we'll pick up the chain of events. The only things that have really happened is we've caught up with the people at the rent house. We've caught up with Tommy at the rent house now with Cooper, with Angela Ainsley and the family and the other MTEX employees who are trapped. And then we caught up with Ariana and Cooper, where the question is popped in reverse. And now Tommy is straightening out Cooper. But what was your impression of this week's episode, Radioactive?
I thought it was pretty good overall. There's just maybe one part that I felt was a little cringy, but that's about it. Otherwise, it was a solid episode.
I felt like this one was inverted. Like places that used to be shaky went really well, and places that used to go really well were a little shaky. Like the old folks' home went better than ever. It was the least cringe trip to the old folks' home ever. And meanwhile, it was like kind of very controversial, but it was still funny enough. Like they kept it to funny. Now the old folks themselves are the bad influences rather than Angela and Ainsley. So they don't quite look as bad. And I just thought it was kind of a different episode. But yeah, at this point, Tommy's looking for he needs a recommendation on a good breakfast beer. And then he's going to have that, and he's going to get a Troy Aikman beer. So we get our season's Cowboys episode Cowboy mention. And then Cooper and Tommy have this conversation where Tommy tells Cooper, it's like, you have really gone way too far in a lot of places. You don't know what you're doing. You're in business with a murdering Sicario. By the way, how's it going? Oh, well, I think everything is just magic and taking care of itself. And he's like, wait, what do you mean? He's like, well, the loan's paying for everything. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I'm sure everything is fine. And this conversation Cooper was so naive that I thought it recast his character and maybe slightly strained credulity. This is the situation, sirs and madams. Cooper is trying to be a wildcat landman of his own, and he figured out a way to drill for oil by uniting all the abandoned leases on the patch and going for a second bite, thinking that they all couldn't be played out because technology's advanced and a couple of other things. And he also figured out the geology of the patch, that you just have to drill deeper. Simple, crazy as it sounds. But he has managed to hit 6 of 6 oil strikes. But now the next thing we found out is this guy who pulled off this genius move didn't set up anything for payroll and has these dangerous people working for him for like 4 weeks. What do these guys do for money? You're going to explain to that guy Marty that you don't have his paycheck? He's got $40 million in motion but nothing in pocket. And he just seems like the dumbest guy in the world here. And Tommy's like, so what happened? He's like, well, I went to, El Sicario Loans. It's called Sunrisa. But he's like, I got that loan, and the loan's just great. It's taking care of everything. It's like the most tailored to me loan ever. It's freaking great. And he's like, really? So what did you do next? He's like, well, I just showed up and asked people if they wanted to work the patch and said who I was. He's like, see? There you go. You kind of use my name and my pull to get people stuck up in this. So here's what I'm going to do, son. I'm going to clear your marker. I'm going to clear out all your debts, and you're going to be even at $40 million. You're going to be out of this terrible situation, and you're not going to owe money to a murdering Sicario who I saw take a Desert Eagle to a man's gourd right in front of me. Right in front of me. He leaves all these parts out. He's like, you're in business with some bad people. They might be drug dealers. You need to just back off, son. $40 million in debt. Do you have a geology specialist? Do you have a lawyer? Did you read? And then we find out Cooper has spent less time reading this contract than anyone has ever spent reading the back of a ticket to a Pink Floyd show. And it's just the dumbest, most naive thing you've ever heard from Cooper. He's almost out of character here. I don't know if they're moving the goalposts on his intelligence. This was dumb. How does he not know that he's in debt to like a dozen guys?
Not even
he
that,
doesn't
but
have any life
Completely out of
experience.
character.
yeah, he doesn't even have an LLC or anything.
Yeah, he didn't do the basics. He didn't actually form a company. He just
He
did
didn't
it
even
on
grok
his
this
own.
shit. He didn't even grok it. He didn't even get an AI
there's-
hallucination answer. He didn't do the most basic things. Guys, sirs and madams, I'm going to tell you something uncontroversial. Limited Liability Corporation, the LLC, is your standard corporation, and it insulates you personally from any loss if it goes under. However, if you keep making them and blowing through them, that becomes like a chain of frauds. So there's a way to have an LLC, and there's a way not to. So Cooper didn't do this one the right way. And then a couple of minutes from now, we're going to go to a meeting where we're going to find out that Monty also is like very big on LLCs, but he does them like in reverse and wrong and reverse engineers something on the scale of an Enron level fraud. So
Yeah.
the conversation...
Cooper does it wrong. Monty did it super wrong.
Monty
Only Monty knew what he was doing.
Monty seemed to know in advance that he was going to die of a heart attack at 56 and it wouldn't be his problem. He's like, all I got to do is be on top when I go out. That's all I got to do.
Yeah.
And I mean,
But this
John,
is the first
poor
time
John
in a
Hamm.
season and a half that the writing on Landman actually took me out of it. I couldn't believe Cooper would be this naive and this stupid, even for a 22-year-old.
Or Tommy wouldn't be like, come outside for a minute and punch him in the face and be like, the fuck are you doing with $40 million messing around with Sicarios? If I was this far, when I was $600 in the hole in college for like going nuts on my credit card and I had to go explain to my parents how I fucked that one up, I got yelled and screamed at for like 45 minutes. He just blows off $40 million. It's nothing. It's nothing. I'm just going to reroute your bad debt through MTEX and your wells are fine and you're not going to be killed by a Sicario. And Cooper's like, that's it. You cleaned me out. I got nothing. A normal
Never had
person
anything to
would
begin
have...
with.
That he doesn't grasp that, and a normal person would have fallen out of their chair just from not being in business with Andy Garcia anymore. El Rooster, the most dangerous motherfucker in all of Taylor Sheridan-verse, and he's
Fair,
every
though,
bad
to be
thing.
fair, Cooper doesn't know that he's a cartel guy. I mean,
No.
Billy Bob Thornton knows. Landman knows, but
Right.
Landboy does not. So, I mean, we got to be a little bit balanced here.
Landboy has had a hell of a 10 weeks. In the last 10 weeks, he has walked out of college in the last semester. walked onto an oil field and watched everybody he knew die the second or third day of work. Walked into a family funeral and gotten stared down and charmed the mother and the widow. Gotten worked over and beat down in his trailer by friends of the people who died, and now he's going to marry the widow. And to this I say, Ariana's baby, which we were spared seeing at all in this episode, gets daycare across the street from the mother of Elvio, who lives there. Her family has lost 3 people in an explosion and 2 other people to jail for life, and the other one maybe jail for 5 years. All because of Tommy and Monty, and they're Cooper's people, and they're going to watch Landman's sons, girlfriends, dead husband's baby all day, and she's just taken up with a new dude. It's like 9 weeks later. They had been really good at keeping
That's completely understandable. They don't give a shit about her. They care about the baby. That baby's their family, not the now ex-wife of their dead son.
I guess the other thing is the 2 people who moved on him to try to punish him, one's doing jail for life and one's doing 5 years. That seemed about the way it worked out when Tommy gave the deal to the people last season who beat up Cooper. The deal is, the people on the crew that Cooper was on, they were nice guys, but they were extended family and all related. At the funeral, we meet more of the family. Some of them already have designs on Ariana. Very improper. One of them, in a jealous rage, slaps a gat to Cooper's head twice. Cooper must have wrestled or something in college, because he has some takedown power, and he's able to beat up a guy much bigger than him twice. At the end, Tommy has to come in and sweep these guys off the board. He throws them both in jail. One of them is the prime mover. The other cousin, he's bad enough. It is just crazy. He just throws these guys in jail forever, and you would think, I guess now there's no guys left to F with her. How is Ariana able to just not be, she's worried about Tommy judging her?
It's just Elvio's, I think, is his cousin. There's only the 2 of them, so no one else gave a shit enough.
Well, we have cleared all his family members off the board. 3 of them got blown up, 2 of them are in jail, and the rest are women. And there's a baby that's going to end up calling Cooper dad.
And the women, all they care about is the baby. They can give a fuck what the ex-wife does.
That's the best explanation so far, honestly. So here's Tommy continuing to break it to him. Let's go to Crimlon. Crimlon, was this maybe a bit too far in a few places here?
God, no. I think it didn't go far enough.
Tell me more.
All honesty, it is no different than what you were stating that about your parents smacking the crap out of you for the $600 you owe to a credit card. I mean, God,
I didn't think he was angry enough.
I don't think he was angry at all. He's just bewildered by his son's stupidity. That's what it seemed like.
He was shocked as we are that this character is not who we thought he was.
The kid is an idiot. Even at 22 years old, I wasn't that stupid. I mean, I was dumb.
Stacking stupidity. I was this dumb, but I had the wisdom not to get in this deep because I knew it would end up this bad.
Yeah,
I was slightly less. I had just as little knowledge, but I had what was called a reasonable amount of fear. $40 million sounds like you're going to end up in the bay.
Yeah, $40 million is quite a bit of money, and for him to sit there and just act as if everything was just going to go on its own, I don't. He wasn't how did he think he was just going to pay everyone? I don't understand where his character thought anything was going to end up happening.
I've been dwelling on this, and I'm gonna flip one out there, and this is jump ball for everybody. Cooper maybe has hit his head.
Yeah, with the woman stick.
He's stacking too many mistakes,
but he doesn't know business, so that's why he screwed up. He assumed he knew how to run a business, but that's not the same thing as actually running a business.
No, he's just so focused on the girl that he's not paying attention to anything else.
Well, there's
That's the only
too.
thing that excuses it. I thought that maybe the excuse for how much trouble he got himself into by signing a bunch of papers and just walking out of an office without even looking and check. He hasn't checked his own bank. He's just like, he checked to know that there's no money there, but he's still just going out there working without any consciousness of the fact that he need. How many pay periods have gone by? Is it Friday yet? You need money now.
Exactly. I'm not going anywhere unless someone puts money in my pocket. I mean, I don't know where he thought anything was just gonna automatically gonna happen.
It's not
Well,
like
to me,
he
that
works for
sounds
this.
like almost as big a fault with the writers as it is with the character because it's been at least 6 weeks or something like that. So they're being paid every 2 weeks. There should have been at least 3 pay periods or more.
Everybody
Yes.
should be wondering. I mean, and everyone here spends money like crazy too. This is when all of a sudden we went from this relatable show to what I would have to call a financial fantasy. So this is in our financial fantasy terms. This is what I'm thinking. All right, this is the only way I can come up with to justify their thinking on this one. There's a lot of small print on packs of cigarettes people don't read, and they buy them and change their life every day. I don't think that covers this. I don't think that logic covers this.
Now, wait a minute. So I think did we miss the quote of the day by him? I feel like we did. Did you mention any of that?
I don't think he had a quote today, did he? He's like, tonight we're gonna have a pirate dinner.
I feel like there was something. I don't remember what it was. You remember anything about him saying quoting anything, Jerem?
No, he really didn't have the really profound ones. That was more on TL.
Many a slip between a lip, many a slip between a lip and a whatever the hell they said.
Yeah, we're gonna have to remember those quotes for each episode. I feel like there's at least one, from him in almost every episode this season.
I think it was the quote
You're
when he
right on.
was about to walk in on the pirate party.
That what? That's true. That he at the end of the episode, he stops on the porch of his house. He sees his house has been themed up like it's Halloween. It's way too much. It looks like Pirates of the Caribbean from Disney. There's animatronics and other ridiculous shit. And he goes, "I'll swear, one day right here on the porch, a little demon's gonna run out of the bushes, throw me on the ground, and fuck me."
That would be appropriate way for him to go out.
I mean, sounds like a fun time. I wouldn't mind dying like that.
All right, Heat Miser.
Hey, as long as it's a Slaneshi demon and not a corn demon.
Yeah,
It'd
it'd be an interesting way to go.
Could it be Ainsley? Could it be Death by Ainsley? Which also, by the way, is
Beat
like
Alex.
Death by Ainsley is my leading thought on how did that car accident we're going to get to happen. So breakfast goes on. Tommy has no problem with this super insane high stakes business deal. I don't know what to say about this. It's jaw-dropping stupidity, and it's just like I've never had a drink with someone this far out of their mind. I've never met people this far out of their mind, and I don't think I've ever. And I mean, I'm not saying I move in the company of the rich and the powerful. This is
Well, for Tommy, it's
I
only
don't-
40 million.
That's
Considering he has
that's
a
what's
half
taking me out of it.
billion, it's only $40 million to Tommy. In an hour and a half, he's going to someplace where he's dealing with $500 million worth of he's fucked.
And here's the thing: for $40 million, he outright pays off and is free and clear with everything. So it is a good $40 million spent for them, and he ain't spending his money. He's going to take it. He's like, basically, without saying it, he's like, now I'm going to go raid the MTech fund, which is already underwater, and buy your laces. And it's like, well, I mean, they are producing at least, but it's like, we had heard in a couple episodes back that it's something like $600,000 in parts per well to start going. And he's got 6 of these things. So it's just like the amount of money, where do the materials come from? It's just like, oh yeah, Son Reese Alone's is great. A C-130 flies over the work site and drops money and payroll and lunch and oil wells and parts. And what the hell is he doing out there? So this scene, all we can say is thank God it ends, and it melds into Tommy. We got some more even worse bad news for you. He gets a series of phone calls. One from the sheriff telling him you got to get out here to the crash site. I'm sorry, one from Nate telling him that there's been a vehicle crash. Are you there? And oh, by the way, we have no money. And he's like, where the hell are you? And like, we're at the Fort Worth office where we're going to go like get prepared for contracting some people to build this offshore oil well that we have to build. And I'm thinking, this is now Dallas level stakes. Like, where's J.R. Ewing? Like, it's all of a sudden this show that was so gritty and real. Instead of like now that Monty's not handling money, it's like the money is almost like time travel. It's like a story about money, fine. Like, a story with money, fine. A story about money, much more complicated. So Tommy gets the news here that everything's terrible and you got to get to Dallas Fort Worth today. But first, go check out the crash site. This is our crash from 2 episodes back. We skipped the consequences of this. It was another semi hit a pickup truck, but Germ caught this one, and the sheriff points it out. The pickup truck was on a kamikaze mission with a dead stick is the best way to put it. There was a hose from the tailpipe. That's how I'll put it. All right. The self-deletion and Germ's theory that Ainsley is responsible for this and it's probably her ex-boyfriend just holds up way too well for me. I'm still like, I have not questioned that is probably what it is, but we have like a couple of stiffs, a couple of wrecked vehicles. Tommy, without any sentiment or any idea what's going on, has one of the most confusing conversations ever. I don't know if they got the sound mix wrong or something, or the editing fucked up, but this is the problem. They were going 60 miles an hour, so they couldn't brake or maneuver, and the driver of the truck died, and the driver of the pickup truck was, already gone. So Tommy goes, damn it doesn't sound unsafe to me. And the sheriff's like, well, it is, it's unsafe. He's like, all right, fine. I'll put up a bunch of signs that say 65 miles an hour. He's like, good. Okay. That's a good start. And I'm like, that's a horrible suggestion. It's 5 miles beyond fatal speed. Germ, did you catch this inconsistency too?
It seems logically inconsistent, but from a liability standpoint, it makes perfect sense.
You kind of worked in not the petrochemical industry, but in industry. So you're familiar with corporate liability to a point. We're not giving expert advice here, but you're saying this kind of ring true.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how often a sign, no matter how big a bullshit the sign is, it can cover your ass.
You might be right. Also, the sign is like off by a whole lot. The sign is like I might make the speed limit 55 there, even though you can go 70 in some parts of Texas. You tell me.
Hell, you can go 100 in some parts of Texas.
I mean, here in Kansas City, you can go 75 to 80.
Am I the only one who's maybe thought that this episode might have gone a little too far in a couple of places with that?
I mean, was it George Bush Freeway? I think it's 70, 75 mile an hour.
No, I'm okay with the speed limit. I'm saying Tommy making that speed limit 5 miles beyond fatal speed after he found out 60's just too fast. And they're like, well, then I'll put up signs that say 65 miles an hour.
I mean, like, 50 mile an hour is fatal speed too. So, I mean,
on dirt roads, you could flip a vehicle at 30.
I've driven dirt roads so many times doing 50, 55. I mean, when you're going with the big rig like that, it depends on how soft the grade is.
They're somehow the plaintiff on this one too.
There's that, but there's the fact that your stopping power on a gravel dirt road is a lot different than it is on asphalt. A lot different.
Well, I think that they've got a paved road. It's their lease road. This might be the road he went through all that trouble with to get the rights to from the Sicarios.
But it's also a private road too.
Yeah, that's the private road near the reservoir.
I think Germ's right. I think just putting up a sign to begin with, especially just putting up that sign would at least limit your liability.
Probably do wonders.
As long as they determine that the sign was already up.
That's the thing I'm saying. It's like this sheriff is playing fast and loose with the law, but like by now, like my mind was already like sort of just a little bit blown from the revelations we'd already gotten. So at this point, I was like, all right, it turns out to be, in the words of in the famous words of Mas Kanata from The Force Awakens, a good story for another time. So I mean,
sure
we'll
they
figure it out.
Something out. Yeah, I'm sure they could figure something out.
This was not the most incredulous part of the episode. Tommy now has to like run like a true maniac from here to Dallas, which is like something like 4 hours away. And he takes a bunch of pictures and says, yeah, I'm not going to wait for a bunch of info from the state. It's like that's like tattoo removal. And then makes a phone call over to Dale. Sit rep kind of phone call. And then we rejoin Angela at the old folks' home. The only thing she could think of as an activity for old folks' play day was to celebrate herself and have a birthday party like at least 7 months before her birthday, because we're somewhere between April and June by now. This part of the episode with her at work or whatever we call it, volunteering at the old folks' home, they changed the dynamic of the old folks' home. It was still like a little bit inappropriate and slightly smutty. Well, we'll just keep it here. And slightly smutty. They give Angela some inappropriate gifts, and then we find out that the old folks have been up to no good on their own. They found like the adult channels, and like the loophole here has been they're all still adults. It doesn't matter if they still have if they don't have as much capacity anymore, which isn't really true in the real life. Don't try this, but the nursing home is now fine with Angela. Angela's fine with the old people. She has like fun and takes some purpose in it. And this is just a little bit of madcap comedy. And I thought that they had changed out the old people. It's just there are now a lot more of them. We introduce a 60-year-old guy who's supposed to be 90. I guess that'll help Sam Elliott. I don't know. It was a little weird, but the old folks' home was not as cringe this time as last time. I'm going to go with Radioactive first. What did you think of this trip to the old folks' home?
Well, like I said at the beginning, this is the scene I thought was a little cringy again.
I thought it was a correction for this setting, but you might be correct.
Yeah, it was just I think they just beaten this storyline to death. So, but that's just
This was the burn runtime episode. We spend a lot of time with our like least expensive cast members. We do have a good amount of truck time with Tommy. Some stuff with Sam Elliott. This part was kind of cool. Sam Elliott gets locked out of the house. He can't get back in. He calls Tommy. Tommy tells him, you got to go around back, look for the frog. Underneath the frog, I have a spare key. He goes to grab the key, and he runs into none other than Shelby, who is Ainsley's friend. And this is actually my plan as well. I have a niece, and when she has kids, when one of them hits 21, I will date one of their friends. I endorse this. He's 80, she's 20. It was kooky, but it wasn't horrible, and it was actually a little bit funny. I didn't mind this part.
Sure that's
it did come off a little bit weird.
She has no reason to dig an old raisin head, even if he's the handsomest old 80-year-old ever. This was to make me feel better. You're not going to die alone, Teag. When you turn 80, a 25-year-old woman will show up who just wants you.
Yes, give it 5 years.
Fuck you. They might be inverted. It's 18 and 81. Like, this is the ultimate January-December romance. This seems to be going somewhere very quickly.
Yes, love knows no bounds.
She's checking out Sam Elliott when he walks away. Then Rebecca shows up because, of course, she does, because she's one of the lawyers. And the MTEX people are facing up. This is why this episode had some writing problems. It had to account for something like 14 episodes up to now. This was all the accounting for everything happened at once. And they set up what they're trying to do really well. I'm not sure whether they pulled it off or not. What they did was this. We set us up for a really strong performance from Rebecca, because whenever something goes wrong legally or you're on the wrong side of a contract, Rebecca has just simply turned mean, cold, profane, and evil and thrown down a bunch of ultimatums, and people have just cracked. She tries it this time and they tell her, shut the fuck up. We'll throw you and this whole bunch of people in jail. It's like It's a Wonderful Life. It's just F you, Bailey. You give me you're $8,000 short. And they are just absolutely outmatched by these other lawyers who have read the contract that these people have no familiarity with at all. They're quoting the contract back to the MTEX lawyers. They are owning Rebecca. For a little while, I thought, okay, this is when Nate wakes up and shows his skill. So again, another jump ball. Guys, the meeting with the loan shark lawyers and the MTEX lawyers. These guys are just venture capitalists, ladies and gentlemen. They make big money loans. They have a lot of money.
Yes, in real life, you wouldn't care what happens to any of these lawyers.
That and the deal that the lawyers are in, they've been aware of this for about 4 weeks, and they haven't read this $400 million contract.
Which doesn't make sense. She was supposedly quoting it the last time they had a meeting.
No, she quoted the road. Oh, that's right. They did say that they account for that in this one. She says, we had a completely different conversation last time. And he goes, this is this time. They sandbag. The idea here is they sandbag the people. They knew that there was a ticking clock, but the MTEX people didn't. So they're like, oh, yeah, no, everything's great. We'll see you in 2 weeks. And they're like, yeah, today is the limit. We got some stuff going on tomorrow, so we're not even going to talk to you after today. Are you going to play ball or not? And they're like, let us call our principals. And they're like, yeah, do that, because we don't really give a shit about this company that you say has no owner. If it has no owner, then we own it. If it has an owner, we're going to nail their hide to the wall. And it couldn't have gone worse. And Rebecca, at least, the only thing I thought about this scene was at least Rebecca didn't profane her way out of it. But Neil, as we call Nate sometimes, he was like, this is supposed to be his purview. He's supposed to be a pretty powerful, negotiating and rights and contract guy. She's a liability and insurance lawyer. He is a land lawyer. He's a mineral rights lawyer. He's a contract lawyer. He should have known all this stuff. Nate would have been like, that isn't Section C, but if you look, we have an easement. They had a chance to give him a little bit of power here. I think one of the things they did that was maybe a mistake was packing too much of the stakes into one episode. Maybe they could have cut 20 minutes out of this 64-minute beast. Did we maybe try to do too much?
A little bit. Maybe 10 minutes or so would be the most I would have taken out of it.
I did think some time could have been shaved from the episode because we spend a little too much time wriggling at the end of the hook. Our head bad guy, loan sharking corporatist lawyer here is a really good match for Harry Dean Stanton, but he's not because Harry Dean Stanton's dead and this guy isn't. He's also 50, and Harry would be 97 if he was alive. But they have this they shake down the MTEX people. The MTEX people are absolutely clueless. They have no idea. Tommy's on his way. More panicked phone calls. And Tommy has one stop to go to before he goes to the MTEX meeting because he's already in town to talk to El Galino, our pal, Andy Garcia. He sends 2 hot chicks to the door to greet Tommy, and he's coolly playing golf. And I thought what was kind of cool was he's just like putting. He's practicing putting golf, right? And the only thing I could think of is like he was the one with all the balls. The only way to put it, like they're being a little metaphoric, but like Landman walks in here, he's going to cancel out this bad debt to his son, and everything's going to be over. And Andy Garcia fills him in on the conversation that he had with Demi Moore. And it's plain here that Tommy is decided he's never going to check in with Demi Moore. It's like, you know what? You're a sweet, beautiful young lady. I remember you when you were nothing more than a Florida State cheerleader. But here you are, a grown woman. I got to keep you out of the way of all this gosh darn trouble. And she has gone and had a meeting with Andy Garcia's character Galino, which means the rooster or the cock. Take your pick. And she said, like, we ain't got no money at all. So Tommy goes in there talking big and talking tough, and he's like, do you know, those things you say about how you have money and stuff, maybe you don't. And I'm thinking, if we ever remade Wrath of Khan, this is my Khan right here. He was like masterfully villainous and helping this scene was helped out and worked out real well. This was one of the few scenes that didn't have a lot of complications. Like, you owe me. No, I don't. I own you. Oh, shit, what am I going to do? And you know what? Don't F with me, with Andy Garcia once again being on top. And we're going to escalate this meeting a little more. He's like, you need about $500 million. I got that sitting over here in an ice bucket. And he's like, you're like a bad guy. You are a drug dealer. He's like, you don't know nothing about me, man. Fuck you. And it's like, all right, not fair enough. I know everything about you. I saw you, kill someone. I was, nailed to a chair literally in a basement by like your sicarios, and you deal drugs. It's like, you don't know that for sure. And Tommy's just like, I kind of do. And he's like, well, it doesn't matter. You did business with my sicarios. You're still in business with the sicarios. You're still in business with me. No bank is going to give you a loan. You're totally tapped out. But I have piles and piles of money. I'm like the Latino Scrooge McDuck. F you. And Tommy's just like, basically, like, we leave this one with Andy Garcia more than a little bit in charge. He's got everything handled. And Tommy just like, he gets dismissed. This is one of the only times we've ever seen Tommy just come out on the short side of any confrontation. He gets owned again by Andy Garcia, who has saved his life once, albeit from his own guys. And now he's going to end up being like basically as much of a partner as you can be. And he's going to really power wash off this drug money. He's got $500 million. He's El Chapo. Andy Garcia's acting and Billy Bob's acting carries this very, very tough scene. It works. It's good. But basically, the flex is this. I am a landman. Well, I am a Sicario, a Scarface, and an old school El Muerte La Cosa Nostra mobster from Italy. So don't screw with me. And then it's like, he's like, I need a better solution than you. And he yells at him. And this is the 6th different language that he's spoken. He has spoken Cuban. He has spoken Spanish. He has spoken American. He has spoken Mexican. He has spoken English. And now he speaks Latin. He goes, I am the solution. Or maybe it was Italian. I don't know. I think they're related languages. They're pretty close to each other. I thought this was real good acting and kind of like mediocre on the script end. In fact, if they had given a scene this tough to Cooper and Ariana, we might have just been checked out. This was their intensity and their confrontation carries this scene. I'm gonna go around the horn. I'll start with Radio. Radioactive, what did you think of this scene? Was this just calling on the actors to earn their pay here?
No, I thought it was useful for setting up the situation that they're dealing with.
It was very clear. I'll agree with you on that one. Any other thoughts on the confrontation? The confrontation over the $500 million.
Well, this time Andy Garcia's character didn't get angry. He didn't fly off the handle.
We were waiting for it. It was
Yeah,
cool that
we
he
were
didn't.
waiting
It was.
for it.
You know what they
He
did?
must have not had any coffee that morning.
He drinks espresso, but yeah, he didn't have. He wasn't fueled up. Krimlon, what was your impression of this scene? I thought it was a tour de force in acting, at least.
Well, I mean, what's the point in him really getting angry when he knows he's already in control?
He's laughing at Landman here a little, actually. He's scoffing at him. He's laughing at him, and he's owning him.
I laugh at your superior intellect.
American Pig Dog. Wait, wrong movie.
Landman, I want you to give me everything you know about the Project Genesis. Yeah, it was really confrontational. We use the word confrontation and conflict in this a lot. Krim, want any more to say on this one? And we're like 75% of the way through this episode. This was a long episode, but it had a lot of events, but they were paced out. Go ahead, Krimlon. I'm sorry.
Well, I think they did a good job. You really can't get any better than those two guys in the same scene together, especially as well-known actors as they are. I think Andy Garcia is a really great actor to begin with. So
we've been seeing him in movies since the very late 80s. Remember, like Internal Affairs, and he's like a crazy cop with like Roseanne's sister.
I think he has pretty good range to begin with. So I think it just felt right, within the wheel where he's would normally play to begin with.
I feel this is another borrowed character, the way they borrowed like a Bond villain and just set loose Daniel Plainview from There Will Be Blood in the form of Timothy Dalton's 1923 character. They have just lifted Scarface and made him 60, and that's Andy Garcia. He is Scarface. He's Scarface who didn't get high on his own supply as much.
Yeah, that definitely could be where they were going with it.
Jerm, what did you think of the, we use the word conflict and confrontation on this show all the time. What did you think of the conflict over the $500 million?
There's fantastic acting from both Billy Bob Thornton and Garcia.
Yeah.
More than head and shoulders above the rest of the cast. Usually those two interacting is one of the highlights of the episode, and definitely was for this.
I agree. I thought this was one of the high points of the episode, and certainly they earned their pay. This was a tough scene. The stakes for part 2 of season 2 are riding on the scene, and they do a pretty good job. We were like at least on the edge of our seat, and it was when we got to the next scene when we're doing some more comedy at the house, and we find out that it's going to be a pirate-themed dinner, which is the name of the episode, Pirate Dinner. And it was during this scene, both times I've watched this episode, I was still thinking about all the stuff that had just gone down before. And it was kind of a good thing that this scene wasn't too heavy, because I was still stuck in Andy Garcia's office. I was really, at this point, I'm like, so wait a minute, Landboy's an idiot? And Landman's like backed up against the wall like never before? And the only person doing okay is Landpa? Landpa's having a good day. He makes mention to Ainsley that she looks just like someone, and I think we all know that Ainsley looks just like her grandmother, who was an evil, horrible, terrible human being who beat her children and was just a piece of garbage. It was all horrible, but Ainsley looks like her, and she was really hot, and that's really the only thing that Sam Elliott seems to have taken from it. I will say this, that trait is consistent through 3 generations. Tommy is in a terrible marriage, and Cooper can't wait to get into a terrible marriage. And someone's going to marry Ainsley and have a shot of maybe reforming her. She's got almost like a childlike innocence. They have been backing up the truck on how mean she is. I think they're going to drop the bomb on us next week, and we're going to find out that was her boyfriend in that pickup truck. I think Germ was right.
She'll end up in a terrible marriage, and if that turns out to be your ex-boyfriend, then just tack that on to her being 10 times worse than the rest of the family. If you really think about it, how many of the others have really caused them to off themselves?
She just
I'm sure her mother has a body count.
Yeah, you're probably right.
True. That is true. Like Tommy's like, he knows not to mess with Angela because like when he got her, the last guy was still twitching on the floor. The most masterful person in this whole show was someone we never saw. It was Angela's husband who got rid of her. He just sent 2 lawyers to his house and had them walk her to her car like a fired employee. And we have never found out what was in that letter to Ainsley. I guess we are going to write that off. Or are we going to find out at the end of the season that Ainsley has like $700 million and can buy and sell everyone? Like, we've got like a MacGuffin waiting for Ainsley. But that's when we get back to Dallas-Fort Worth, the MTech's office, the lawyers, and Cammy and Tommy are with Monty's money man. I forget this dude's name. He's Monty's money man, and he owns an insurance company. Him and Monty hammered out a legal Ponzi scheme that makes sense until it doesn't. This is what I'm going to say on this one. Steps 1 and 2 are logical and make sense. Steps 3, 4, and 5. Hello, Lemon Pie. Hello, Trek Reviewer. Treks 3, 4, and 5 are, and hello, John. There are a few unnecessary steps at the end. This is what Monty does with his money. He has all the money he needs, but instead of using his own money, he secrets the money away and borrows the money. Now, it's so weird that this happens because Radioactive and I had this conversation last week about macro versus microeconomics. This all sounds terribly counterintuitive to people who run a household like we all do. But if you run a huge business, the idea is this. Run up debt that you absolutely know that you can totally pay off. Pay it off an hour early. And everyone's going to, it'll cost you less money to borrow the money next time. And you'll start to get to the point where the depreciation of the money, the loan rate, and your favorable rate are like almost synced up. And you start to make more money off being in debt by improving your credit standing. And you pay off last year's loan with the money you already have. You take this year's loan and you take your capital and you hold on to it. That's your venture capital. If you stop here, this makes sense. Monty then took the capital and put it into like high risk, apparently not very short-term investments that for some reason are the only high risk funds that are guaranteed. There are orange trees that are going to grow oranges, but they're not going to grow them until 3 months after we need money. Is basically, we don't get an exact time frame, but the deal is they cooked the money and flipped the money one too many times. They weren't content to make money off of the loan being a positive and the principal being worth more money when they spend it than it is when they borrow it. They're not playing that kind of money game. They are then taking the principal and speculating with their money that they need to cover their own note. And Monty has already set this up so that he's not going to get paid off until after his loans are due from the money from the destroyed oil well in the Gulf that he has used to rework the patch. To which I say, if Monty knew what he's doing, shouldn't there be all sorts of oil hitting the market now? Like, where is their assets? And at the end of the day, if they borrow all this money from Andy Garcia, they still have it in a few more weeks. They're going to replace their money, and then they're going to have the original money back when they're done. It's really, really weird. And I'll go to Jerem first. What did you think of their crazy business Rube Goldberg machine of loans?
It was sounding feasible until those last couple of steps, which started sounding like felonies.
And also sounded really, 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 how do you put it? Criminal. It sounded outright criminal. It sounded felonious. And that was the flex the other lawyers made when Rebecca and Nate were over there. It's like, well, if you don't have this money, you're a bunch of criminals and we'll just lock you all up and take your stuff. So that's what's going on at this meeting. It's like, how do we dig out of this hole? And so the money man who knows where the legal money is like, I have your money. And I don't think it's a coincidence that he looks exactly like the owner of Enron. He looks exactly like the owner of Enron. He's like, I've got your money in this low risk but extremely long high risk Ponzi scheme, which is somehow not illegal, which is against every bit of common sense that anyone could ever have. And hey, Miss Katonic, do you think that this is how you'd run your company? I don't know. So, Germ, Crimlon, I'm gonna pass this one to you guys. What do you think? Too cute by half?
A little more than half.
We're talking about, we are jeopardizing the structural integrity of half of the show, because we have at least a season 3. If it doesn't continue after Taylor Sheridan leaves, there's a season 3 was announced, and we have half a season 2 left to go. So if we screw up this episode to the point that we can't fix it, we are stuck with the consequences for a good long time. And so Tommy, after hearing the deal with their money and the intersecting ticking clocks on the mob loan versus the good loan, which the good loan is terrible terms, the mob loan is great terms, but like horrible people. And my feeling on this one was, this is when Demi Moore's acting was being, they bank on Demi Moore to have another home run, and Demi Moore only hits a double. Demi Moore, the ball is like, it's a line drive laser beam over the head of the outfielders, but it hits the top of the wall and bounces back into play just below the yellow line. It's not a home run. It's a double. They're scrambling and she makes it into second base safe, but she doesn't score like this is supposed to. Tommy confronts her and tells her they are in business with a drug dealing madman who has killed and will kill again. It doesn't register. It doesn't register.
Oh no, it registers with her very fine, and she's completely okay with it as long as she can keep the company.
Is that what I was supposed to take away from this? I went in that Tommy says this guy is so dangerous. He had me tied to a chair and he was going to turn me into a barbecue. He was going to do that. And she's like, I don't care. I'll be damned if I'm going to let the business my husband started in our garage 25 years ago with some money he stole at the gas station go up in flames 8 weeks after I took over. And I'm like, man.
Yeah, she's just asking Tommy, well, was it Carolina barbecue or was it Texas barbecue? Because there is a difference, Tommy.
At this point,
and are we sure you didn't deserve it?
At this point, what was going through my head is, make a ceramic pot so that Monty's Force Ghost appears and ask him some questions about why he left you on the road to prison. Her stakes are this. You need to come up with $400 million to get back the $100 million of your $800 million because $700 million is gone. So you're going to have to just survive somehow on $100 million.
Well, it's not gone. It's just locked up in these other financial contracts, apparently.
Right.
Yeah.
If she
could get that other $700 million in about 6 months, but the
thing is, if everything goes wrong, she'll
flow a loan.
It seems to me like that's a job for Rebecca to do, right? She should be on top of the financial legalese versus Nate.
Nate should have had the contract down, and she should have had the money.
Yep.
They should have been a little more formidable. To see our MTEX lawyers just broken like that at that meeting, like the one thing about it, I'll say,
I think they wanted to just bitch slap Rebecca around a little bit.
They wanted to humanize her.
Yeah.
There's some work being done on all the female characters. This seems to be the decision.
She just couldn't have a batting average of 1,000. She had to get a couple strikes.
Being a crazy bitch can't be a superpower. We have humanized her in the last 2 episodes. She finally got laid and had a good time. And she finally came down. She came down off her high horse. And here she gets owned by the other lawyers. So flipping out on people is not a superpower. That would have been a little much. So Taylor Sheridan, he's doing, it's weird. Taylor Sheridan's not like J.J. Abrams or Kurtzman. He doesn't set impossible stakes and then come back at you later and try to fix them. But in a way, the only reason it's not impossible stakes that he's not coming back to fix is because he's really great at repairing and writing on the fly. He almost completely lands the plane on 1923. A dead end with the Guardian story. It was all a dark distraction that was just there to have like less expensive actors on screen because we just didn't have enough money to keep paying Harrison Ford. And in Landman, like we have a series of like high impact scene with our most expensive actors, and slower, like calmer scenes with our less expensive actors. And again, my thing here is Demi Moore, she looks obsessed. She does some good acting. She opens her eyes up even wider than this facelift of hers. And she looks somewhere between the beautiful girl that we fell in love with and the thing on every Iron Maiden album cover at this point. I didn't know what to... She was way too driven to be in business with the drug dealers and possibly like put her life on the line. She doesn't have a TV. She's never heard of El Chapo. She never saw Scarface. She seemed naive, but it was powerful acting again. I don't think she hit another home run. I don't feel this is like when she had the mineral rights board and she was like, "Don't fuck with me." And I don't think this was like Monty's Grave. They asked her to come up big too many times in a row. I think this might have just been either we had used this trick one too many times with a very strong emotional Demi Moore performance to even things out, or logic had been bent back too much, or both. This wasn't a bad scene. It was just that we have too many real life logical questions like flying around. I think
I'd
financial
say,
fantasy.
I'd
Go
say
ahead,
Miskatonic called it, Teague, this last week.
Cammy is determined not to lose, and that's clouding her judgment.
Yeah.
Yep.
Her line that confused me was this.
I don't think it's supposed to be as powerful as those other scenes where she's not overly emotional. She's more angry than anything in this. She's
focused.
give a
She's
damn.
focused. She's angry and focused, and she's not thinking is what she gets across really well.
That's right. Her hate gives her focus.
Reach out with your anger.
Anger.
Do it. Do it.
So anyway,
Use the voice.
this particular Iron Maiden song ends with, "We're going to stay in business with the Sicario. F you, Tommy. And from now on, don't you ever summon me to a meeting. Your ass comes to me." And I was like, all right, that makes sense. Owner of the broke company who's selling your own house to get the money, not to have to, move to a poorhouse. But she's in for all the marbles. And that takes us to Amarillo, where Cooper meets Ariana's father. The actor looks familiar. I'm trying to get his face in picture. This scene works. It's fine. Cooper is going to ask Ariana's father if he can marry her. He's a welder working on the Gulf Coast while his wife recovers from cancer, and he's pretty unflapped by that. And for a minute, you know what? Let me just rewind for 1 second. I do want to say this one thing. The meeting with Cammy and Tommy. Oh my God, she looks like she just popped out of the Ark of the Covenant there. The meeting between Tommy and Cammy. One of the things she says is, the only thing I ever lost in my life was my husband. And I'm like, you have 2 daughters. You lost something else, but okay. I see where you're going with this. And she goes, everything else I've won, and I'm going to win this. And that to me, I just thought this. What does this say about her relationship with her parents at 63 years old? Are they both okay? Is that why she's never lost anything else? I mean, I can imagine that there will be bad days, but I don't think I'll ever be like, yeah, this trumps the day I had to, lay my dad to rest. I just thought it was kind of a weird line. That's my take on it.
I think she's the type that stopped giving a damn about her parents when she married Monty.
Might be true. She's got land chick kind of blood. By the way, this is one of the things I liked here was, I think one of the best props in the whole show is Land Boy's Ford Sierra here, or whatever it is. It's beat to hell, and every single thing that can be busted is busted. When they have the inside look at his vehicle from the other window, looking at him at the driver's seat, the little button to lock and unlock the door, it's just the threaded screw at the center of the button. He's lost the button that you put to lock and unlock your door. And as he opens the door, you can see it doesn't matter because he can't roll up the window because there's no thing to push in to open the door. This is just whatever. Landboy doesn't care, and this truck's older than me.
Don't be mocking Landboy's truck. That's a working class millionaire's truck right there.
You've never heard of the Landboy High Sierra? It's the truck that made the Dallas-Fort Worth run in less than 4 hours.
Exactly.
I have affection for this fucking truck. Here's Landman's. He says it's his wife, so I don't. This is apparently not Ariana's mother, and she doesn't say a word to Cooper. She walks out and just like gives her husband a beer and splits. She's the perfect wife. She's uncharacteristically mild-mannered and calm for the way women have been in this show. I'm just gonna say, is it because she's got the big C? And she still said, like, her husband has like no mercy. If my wife had the big C, man, I just get my own beer. This whole scene was good but weird.
I do think that is Ariana's mother. She does say one line to him in Spanish.
Yes.
Which was essentially "Don't go crazy."
Right.
And so I'm assuming she already knows what the kid's there to ask, and she's assuming that there's going to be violence, and she just doesn't want to stick around for that.
Good enough. Anyone else got a theory on why on this woman? Is it Ariana's mother?
I assumed it was, but that's just me.
She said, she did, the thing that had me thinking here is she didn't say go meet my parents. She said go talk to my father.
Well, yeah, her mother would have no say in her getting married.
And doesn't speak English. And also, like, here's the thing that Landboy doesn't know. Ariana's father doesn't have any say in this matter and hasn't had a say in her life since she became an adult. He's an enormously progressive guy. He's not like crazy or controlling. He just says to Cooper, and he's got good judgment too. He's a good judge of character. He looks Cooper up and down and goes, you don't look the type, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you lay a hand on my daughter, I'll kill you. I mean, she'll kill you first, but I'll kill what's left. And yeah, I'm thinking like
that's boilerplate legalese.
It is. It is. Yeah.
And he is the would love to be the conservative, controlling type father, but he realized what his daughter is, and he just gave up on that probably 10 years ago.
After the Quinceanera. Okay. Krimlon, what did you think of John Fetterman here and his appearance on our show?
That's who I was trying to figure out.
Juan Fetterman. I'm sorry, Juan Fetterman.
Juan Fetterman? Wait, what? That accent didn't fit
When
really
Germ
well.
said he was a conservative, it hit me who he looked like, and I was like, actually, he's a progressive from Pennsylvania, sir.
Oh boy. I don't know. I really don't know about this scene.
It was the burn runtime, but at least it wasn't inartful. That was my takeaway.
Definitely what that's what I took out of it. Is it just kind of felt like they put it there just to put it there. It didn't really have any real impact on any of it.
It just
they needed
basically
a break from the rest of the story, but I think they had to edit out something to do with the truck or the Australian guy that Rebecca was involved in.
I think so too. I think something went wrong with Rebecca's story and they didn't like what they had. Because Rebecca's just thrown into the end of this episode and then she vanishes. She's not at the end of the dinner. We don't see her again. I mean, she is there, but we don't see her again. And like, she's not with anyone and she's got like this themed pirate outfit that doesn't match the rest of her day. She should be in Fort Worth working her ass off. She just screwed this company over. But John Fetterman says, go ahead and marry Juan Fetterman says, go ahead and marry my daughter and see if you make it out alive. And we know he's a wise and good man because he drinks Michelob Ultra. Krimlon, what did you think?
Yeah, God, Michelob Ultra.
Was it Michelob
enough.
Ultra?
Yep.
Oh, that's
Hey, if Michelob
blasphemy.
Ultra gives you $25 million, everyone in your show is going to drink it.
Exactly.
Well,
every
all right,
every good
okay.
person, every
All
good
right,
person.
but I'm just saying that seems out of family. He should have been drinking Dos Equis or
Dos Equis or Corona.
yeah.
I don't-
Are you saying that the trees hug him? That sharks have a week named after him? And that he is, in fact, not the senator from Pennsylvania, but the most interesting man in the world.
Could
And
be, yeah.
yeah, he doesn't always have children,
You know-
but when
you
he
know,
does, they're crazy
Actually,
bitches.
we go on a limb and say he could have been drinking Rolling Rock.
I saw the label. It's definitely
Modelo.
it's definitely
Oh, Modelo, that's another one. Yes. Yeah.
At Ariana's house. There's Modelo's.
That makes more sense.
That makes
At
more
Ariana's
sense.
house, there's
That's-
Modelo.
That would be more in character. So the fact that he's drinking Michelob, that means, I mean, if we really wanted to flesh out his character, what's going on with this guy's character that he's drinking Michelob? instead
He's
of-
definitely
Well,
from
number one,
Philadelphia.
he's born in America.
He's
He
definitely
learned
from
Spanish as a
Philadelphia.
second
Yeah.
language. Yes.
I was going to say he's
absolutely.
definitely from Philadelphia if he's drinking that beer.
yeah.
He also doesn't
Yeah.
have a very Latino or Southwesty accent. He sounds like he might be even a New York Puerto Rican. Oh, you've heard that term before.
Oh, unfortunately, yes.
It's not a pejorative.
Well, like I got friends that are from Puerto Rico, so yeah, no, it definitely there is a
It's
big
just
difference between
Puerto Rican
between
people who
them.
are born in New York are called New York Ricans.
Well, and they're also a different attitude and accent than what you get out of Florida and actual Puerto Rico.
Right. It's totally different. It's a totally different thing. I'm trying to think of who a good example would be. J-Lo is from New York and Puerto Rican. Eric Estrada doesn't work because I think he's Mexican, but it's the same vibe.
She likes tacos and burritos.
Eric Estrada is from California.
I thought he was from upstate New York or uptown New York City. Someone remarked it to me. That's like one of my friends remarked this one to me, so I don't have confirmation on that one. I was told he was from uptown New York. No difference. I'm saying this guy is so thoroughly Americanized, so totally an American, has no accent of any kind, and he's hanging out with Cooper, talking to him perfectly fine. And he's got a wife who apparently doesn't speak English and a daughter who speaks English with no accent, but doesn't seem to be able to read or navigate her way through things. And she's about 22 to 24. And I'm just
how many
bro,
people?
did you send your daughter to school?
How many kids do you see coming out of Baltimore that can't read, do math, can't do anything? So I don't know whether or not it's actually she's born and raised outside the country. It's probably the fact that she probably bailed on the family at 14 years old.
She was such a pain in the ass that Pop was just like, you know what, man? Someday some bad person's going to find her and they'll want to do something bad to her. And I feel bad for that bad person because they're going to have to deal with her.
Could be.
All right. Anyone else got some final thoughts on this edited scene?
No, I think we got the beer covered pretty well.
All
I'm
right. So
disappointed.
now,
I'm very disappointed. God.
You know what? I forgot one. Shinerbach. He probably should have been,
yes.
Yeah, he should have been.
There you
drinking
go.
Shinerbach. Not Rolling Rock. Rolling Rock, somehow I subconsciously channeled Pennsylvania. Rolling Rock's from Pennsylvania. I was thinking Shinerbach is what I should be
it's
saying.
because the guy's John
Yeah.
Fetterman energy.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
It's the guy's Fetterman energy.
Subconsciously channeled Pennsylvania beer. Okay.
So Landman goes back to the Patch Cafe and he sees one of our favorite characters, Barney. Barney is one of my favorite characters for this reason. He's always funny.
And they do a great job with his with the costuming and everything, because usually he's purple.
Yeah. They used Barney's skin to cover the wall on the Suliban cruiser. They got that purple booth in there. Yeah, no, it's funny because, you know, it makes you say, like, we've got
that Barney.
Ariana and Barney, you know, it's like, it's a little too. Ariana and Barney have a good chemistry. They're not talking together this time. Barney's just talking to Landman. They're basically joking and busting balls, and Landman is like now like basically he's been confrontational so many times to Barney and owned him so many times that he respects Barney for taking it like a man or something. And Barney works the Patch Cafe. You could pick up $500 in a minute without thinking twice. He doesn't give a shit about Landman and his money. So Barney's obviously in a place where Landman now likes him, and Landman like snaps at Barney a little bit, and Barney, you know, like instead of staying down and taking it to get that tip, gives it right back to Landman. He's like, "You made it from Fort Worth in like 3 hours? How are you not dead?" Hey, Ruby Hoove, welcome. Thank you for gifting a membership to my channel. I really super appreciate it, and so does Casey's Creepy Creations. Casey Ostrowski has become a member. Casey, congratulations. Come forward if you're here, and welcome, Ruby. It's so nice to see you. We're just finishing up this week's Landman, and we'll recap it for you in a moment. At the Patch Cafe, Barney has been compared to Yoda. He is super nice. He is like super straight up and super straight. He's sober. He keeps telling Landman, like, why do you drink like a fish and drive around at 100 miles an hour? Maybe that's dumb. And if Landman ever hits rock bottom, the one person he could go talk to who'd be like, you know what? I'm going to give you this poker chip, and then tonight you're going to meet me at this church basement and drink some bad coffee. And Landman would probably listen to Barney. I think Barney might just be set up for the last person we ever see Landman talk to when we end the show. He's like, let's go to that meeting, Landman, you crazy bastard. But this was a little bit of exposition that was pretty good. He's like, and I don't know how much the Michelob Ultra people liked it, which makes me think maybe we had someone drinking Michelob Ultra to clean off this comment. He's like, gee, Tommy, if you're an alcoholic and you can't, you know, he's like, well, here's what happens. Troy Aikman has a craft beer. Tommy's drinking it. And he's like, what do you think, Tommy? And he's like, oh, sure am glad that old Troy has a beer. He's like, well, how does it taste? He's like, I don't know. I smashed my nose on a wellhead when I was 30, and I ain't been able to smell or taste since. And I'm like, so that's why you drink the Michelob Ultra? I guess.
That's the only way he could drink Michelob Ultra.
Yeah. So Landman cannot taste or smell. And like when you say, have you no sense? There are 6 sense. There are what? They say your sixth sense. Landman, if he has a 6th sense, that'll bring him up to 5. He's got, or 4. He's got 3. He doesn't have taste and smell. I'm trying to remember what other famous character had no sense of taste or smell. Wasn't it Peg Hill? He's like Peg Hill. He has no sense of taste or smell. And he's like, you know, why don't you just drink non-alcoholic beer and call it even if you can't taste it? And he's like, son of a bitch, you were almost about to get a tip. And Barney's just like, oh, screw off. And he doesn't care. And he's like, what's going on with your new, like, helper? Referring to Ariana. And he points down at the end of the bar. And there's Ariana. And she looks great. And she's beautiful. And Landman goes over to talk to her because he already knows that he's probably going to be her father-in-law pretty soon. And she again does something that she's a little bit smug and a little bit uncool and a little bit just insufferable here. He's like,
she's just a little defensive when it comes to Tommy.
I guess so, yeah, because he knows that he keeps telling Cooper, don't marry this woman that you've only known for 8 weeks who has a baby. Don't marry this woman that you've only known. Maybe 8 months, Cooper. Hey, Cooper, 2026 is right around the corner. How about you put this off just for a little while? He's just basically like giving up on Cooper. He's going to let him run wild. He never did try to control Ainsley. And in this one, the line from Tommy to Ariana is, he's like, why are you looking at me like that? And she's like, I just don't like being judged. And like her English is so perfect and everything. It's just the cracks in her story are sort of the toughest ones to reconcile. But it's not the worst scene. And Tommy like leaves behind a tip of $200 $100 for one sip of beer. Obviously, he's just like showing his new future daughter-in-law that he knows the deal and that he likes her. And he likes her for no reason. And I'm thinking she's sort of turning into a little bit of a Mary Sue, aside from the fact that she only got her money through pain and suffering. But, like, gosh darn it, people just like her. There's no reason to date your co-worker's widow 2 days after he dies. But gosh darn it, Cooper just likes her. There's no reason to marry this woman 8 weeks after you meet her when she has a 10-week-old baby. Cooper just likes her. Tommy has no reason to like this girl who's going to change the course of his son's life, very possibly for the worse, but gosh darn it, he just likes her. Guys, give me your thoughts on Ariana.
I didn't get any type of Mary Sue vibes off her. She's obviously crazy, but
Right.
that isn't specific to her. That's a feature of all of them.
Well,
The
one in
major
three
difference is
women.
her.
Yes.
She's got stuff that's earned. She earned the money through the sorrow. She's earned her place in this town through standing up to the bullies. And also, like, she's kind of earned Cooper. But the thing is, like, she's standoffish to Tommy, who is her future father-in-law by her own design, and she knows it. And I guess she's trying to warm up to him. I find her to be the most confusing character, and the character who people's choices around are the weirdest. She has the major deviation from any Mary Sue. The one Mary Sue trait that she does have is, gosh darn it, people just like her. So
And
like, she
she
has
has
one of
a-
10 traits. So
She has actual skill. She's good at bartending.
She's learning how to bartend, right? Because Barney he asked Barney, how's that going? And he's like, so far, not bad. And her first day, he was like, you got to work a little harder and a little smarter. So we saw her learning this. And yeah, now she has a little bit of confidence. I don't know. Her character does confuse me. Krimlon, Radioactive, any thoughts on Ariana or Julia Chavez's performance? I did think the acting was good.
There's nothing really special other than she has the potential to go as crazy as the other women.
Yeah,
That is true.
this scene wasn't. It was kind of neutral. I think they're just trying to develop more of a rapport between these two characters. That's about the extent of it.
You know what I'm realizing here is, doesn't she look like Kevin Costner / Kevin Costner's girlfriend in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, Gina from Scarface?
Yeah, she kind of does.
She does look like Mary
yeah,
Elizabeth
there is a little bit of
Mastrantonio. And she's pretty hot as Mary Elizabeth was when she was young. So I do understand why people might mess up their lives with Ariana, but let's see what Buddy says. Thanks. Oh, he's thanking Ruby. It's great. Great job. Thank you, Buddy. You are the best. And Ruby, we do appreciate that membership. We really do. You guys are the best. We're up to 3,000 subscribers, and we got a nice amount of members, and thanks to wonderful people. You guys are great. As far as this scene goes, Ariana and Tommy have their little talk. He takes time out from his crazy day. His day consists of what? 6 hours of driving, 3 hours of meetings? Something like that? It's been insane. He started out at about daybreak at the Patch Cafe. Then he's at the crash site. Then he's in Dallas. Then he's back home in time for a beer. And then he's going to go to his pirate party. So he has time to sort of interact with Ariana. By the time he gets home, the sun is set. His M-Tex truck is just it's his Millennium Falcon as well. I mean, him and Land Boy, they've got their trucks. He says his little line here about one day a demon's just going to come out and have his way with me right here on my porch. Then he goes inside, and I couldn't judge Sam Elliott here. I couldn't tell if he was mopey and unhappy or happy. And it just seems like maybe this scene got changed because everyone looks like they're one way, and then we see Nate is okay and happy. Dale is okay and really happy. Ainsley is laughing. Rebecca is laughing and happy. And it's weird. Angela is sort of redeemed as her role seems to be madcap random adventure at the end of your day plus sex in Tommy's life. And Samuel is just like, damn it, I had a horrible wife who was just like you. I would throw anyone under the bus for 5 more minutes with her. And there's Shelby. And Dale is noticing the actress who plays Shelby, isn't he? Her eyes are up here, Dale.
Wait, she has eyes?
Exactly.
That wasn't Shelby, though. That's not Shelby.
Is this
right
Rebecca?
there. That's Rebecca.
Here's
Yes.
the deal. Her eyes are closed and her hair is the same length.
Rebecca is
I wasn't looking at her
trying out
face.
for her premiere job in the show. And right now, I think she's doing a great job.
Great job. Great job,
Yeah.
girls.
Yeah. The fun bags look great. And Tommy, for the first time ever, is having an unironic happy laugh. We have never seen Landman unambiguously happy. And guys, I have to say this. What's not to be happy about when you're $440 million in debt to a dangerous Sicario who almost killed you already?
Well, it's
and
not
now your
his
family's
money.
on the line too.
It's not his money. He's just the president of the company. It's what's her name's money. So she's the one. That's
Something
left
tells
with
me
the debt.
something tells me that Andy Garcia is going to kill everyone but Cammy when this doesn't work out. Something tells me the only person who's safe is Cammy. That's the way I feel. I don't know. But we have fun, everyone's laughing. Landman is enjoying himself, and we see this pirate dinner, which is the name of the episode, makes up the last minute and 40 seconds of it. And that's basically it. That's our Landman. That's this week's show. We did it. We got you the whole episode synopsis. And now now is the time in the Landman show where we rate the Landman episode. And guys, we're sorry we couldn't get it done in 90, but these episodes have been 20 minutes longer the last 2 weeks. We have had a whole extra episode worth of episodes to discuss. And as far as video essays, I'm sorry, guys. The video essays keep tanking. There's no audience for Landman video essays. If you want them, you're going to have to make some noise. I might make a final one when we're done. But as far as Season 2, Episode 5, Pirate Dinner, it seems like it was reworked, damage controlled, and saved, but it's watchable. It's enjoyable. It's not a bad episode. It's not a bad story. It's not a bad episode 5, because usually episode 5s are effing horrible. To give everybody an idea for something you're familiar with, episode 5 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, after doing all this wild stuff with it, Falcon and Bucky train with Cap's shield so that he can use it right. He's only bounced it off a Learjet. So that's what we get for our typical episode 5s. This one at least delivered a story of its own. And if anything, I guess my take on this one is, all right, we had a lot of exposition to do and we had to do it. We did that funeral last week. We're ready for the second half of our season. And basically this episode is Tommy's life. Here's a typical day. And instead of staying with Tommy and his phone rings and then the vignette of the other people starts, we have the other people living their lives and then they call Tommy and he shows up in this episode. It's sort of reversed. And the stakes are clear for the last part of the season. The most awkward dialogue is out of the way. We survived. Whether or not it's fantastic, I don't know. I'll start with Radioactive. Sir, what did you think of this episode? And what grade would you give it?
I thought it was overall pretty decent episode. It was more dialogue driven than anything else, but
There was a lot of exposition.
I'm gonna give it an A.
An A from Radioactive. All right. Wow. You have any high and low from the episode that you took with you? I guess maybe Tommy on the porch.
Well, maybe Tommy on the porch or the
I
last.
swear,
the
Damon's
last
gonna
scene
run
with
out of the bushes.
Yeah, with the serving wenches, that was pretty good. But let's see, what is the high point? Maybe the confrontation between Tommy and Andy Garcia's character. Maybe.
Okay.
But
That
the low point for me again was the retirement community scene.
For me, low point was something else, but okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
They went too far there.
Yeah, there's some cringe stuff in there. I'll just leave it at that. Just
There's
like,
a cloud hanging over the old folks' home, and you can't play with that game too much.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean,
We have sex-obsessed old people. That's the deal.
That
Also,
might
we're
Hey, if you ever
passing-
met, if they're not utterly depressed, they are horny as a goat. That's just how it is in those communities.
They say that the number one medications in old folks' homes are Viagra and herpes suppressants. So you're probably right. That still feels good no matter how old you get. So you're giving it an A. Let's go to the Crimlon. Crimlon, what did you think of this episode?
I'll be honest. I thought it was kind of dull.
Okay, wordy.
I'm gonna give it a B. I think the cringe from the old folks' home. I honestly, the old folks' home is played and over with at this point.
I felt like they undid some damage to the old folks' home, and it wasn't as creepy and crass as last time, but it might be over with. That part I agree with.
It's definitely over with. I think there's. It seems like they just kind of jumbled everything together into one episode as much as they could. Maybe something's going to happen in the next episode or two to try to compensate, where they wanted to just push everything into one. But
The stakes don't seem to be able to get higher.
No,
They're
it just
gonna
feels all rushed.
maintain
and-
stakes now.
Exactly.
It does feel rushed.
It feels rushed. Everything's pushed together. I didn't like the pacing. It just felt off.
Okay, so a B, and it felt off. Resolute Germ. Oh, I'm sorry, Crimlon. Crimlon, do you have a high and a low? Moment that stuck out to you?
Yeah. The high would be the ending.
I'm free. Okay.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but the pirate scenes. I mean, come on, you got to praise the girls.
Pretty 2018.
There we go. Yeah, you don't get to see that very often in TV shows anymore.
Well, I mean, we have out of it enough people to be responsible for it, but I agree. It was a little bit strange. It was like maybe that well of ideas is being fracked a bit. Okay, so a B. Germ, your turn. Your thoughts on this episode that we watched?
Well, I agree. The high is the ending with the actual pirate dinner. It's good to see Tommy actually have a good moment in his life, because you know it's setting up for some big crash in the next episode. There were a lot more technical mistakes in this episode. You can see where they did some reshoots, especially at the
doubling.
beginning.
Yep.
Yeah, because when Sam Elliott was on the porch talking to his daughter-in-law, that was definitely reshot. The part where Cooper's talking to his future father-in-law, that was added in for some reason. Something must have fallen through.
Or harvested
Then
from the next episode.
Yeah. And then they actually
Episode
had in
5
the middle, they had some technical mistakes with the script where you don't believe that Cooper's that stupid to not set up his business. And
Or that you should go 65 in a place where a 60-mile-an-hour is fatal.
Yeah, that and the part where they're talking to Tommy about the accident with the gas, that he was already at the hospital at the end of the last episode. So unless that's supposed to take place out of order, they did something wrong there in either editing or in this actual writing. So they get knocked off for that, but the feel of everything is still very good. So I'd give it a B.
Okay. High and a low.
I said the high was the ending with the
right,
pirate
yeah.
dinner, and
Is
the
there a low?
low was the low was the mistakes with the filming out of order and just Cooper being an idiot.
I'm gonna ask-
That's
Go ahead.
a level of stupidity that you just can't buy.
I'm with you on this one. Does anyone else, I'm going to ask my panel, if anyone else share my feelings on this, episodes 5 and 6 were combined, and they're filming to try to make episode 6 a little bit longer, or we might get a shorter episode 6. It seems like they were reading the room through episodes 1 through 4, and there might have been more bad behavior by Ainsley, and they're like, all right, you know what? Angela is the designated semi-evil person. We went way too far with Ainsley. Like, she's unlikable. We got to, like, start backing that one up. And then, like, with Thomas, they're like, this idea we had where Rebecca and her new boyfriend get into, like, a fight with Thomas or whatever the hell happened, that's not going to work. And also, like, Thomas being miserable at their house, that probably isn't going to work. Something got changed. I don't feel like that dinner was supposed to be at the end of the episode. I feel like maybe it was like most of the episode, and we might be filming one more episode and like parceling it out across the season. There might be some weird added on scenes in the rest of the season to justify what we did here. I thought that this episode was an F that they fixed up to like a B plus. It was very watchable. But at the same time, it did have pacing issues. It did have what seemed to be logical inconsistencies. It did have some dialogue flopping back on itself. My high of the episode would be Sam Elliott talking to Shelby, because damn it, I'm an optimist. So I felt like I was looking into my own future there. Okay? We'll just leave it at that. No one's going to question it.
I question it.
Fuck you, Cremon.
You're not. You have to.
Not yet. I might get as old, I'll never get as rich. But I do own a bathrobe. I'm gonna give this one a B, but I'll make it a B plus because I think it was going to be an F, and they looked at it and they assessed their own F. They harvested all the best stuff out of it, and it's like an expert repair job. The question for me is, in 6 through 10, will we be able to maintain the stakes without becoming boring? Because basically what we did was we set our stakes, and now for the rest of these 4 episodes, we're going to test the boundaries of our stakes, and some stuff will fall through and some stuff won't. That's just the way LANDMANning goes. This averaged out to be a decent episode, and we didn't poll the audience. My fault. I was pinning stuff and trying to get everyone to the watch party. So if you have an opinion, let me know. Buddy says B to a B minus because Cooper implausibility. I was repaired from Cooper's implausibility because we did have some stuff in the middle of the episode that was pretty good. Like the acting was great in the scene between Andy Garcia and Tommy, even if the story was a little bit perplexing. And I thought that it was Demi Moore who just was asked to do too much, but she did fine. But this story is not as thorough and even and non-confusing as it once was. I understand where I stand in this story, and I understand where all the characters stand, so that is a decent episode 5. Although, like, we bushwhacked us. The rug pull. Nathan is almost incompetent. Rebecca finally gobsmacked. That one didn't bother me. I wouldn't mind if we stopped going to the old folks' home and we could have cut that part out of the episode completely. This episode did drag a little bit and it was a little long. The low point of the episode to me was Cammy being like, just Cammy and Cooper not having common sense and throwing around tens of millions of dollars, or in her case, hundreds of millions of dollars on anger and whims, and like Cooper just not making sense. He's $40 million in debt to like staring down death. He's in debt to like a triple belted Sicario, you know, with every kind of mob, super criminal affiliation you could have. He doesn't blow a sigh of relief and be like, Dad, that pressure off my back and a chance to start over with no mistakes is like $10 million right there. He's just like, and I got nothing. It's like, nothing is so much better than what you had 10 seconds ago, you idiot. So everybody's kind of taking on not unknown traits and not new traits, but Rebecca, she hit the ceiling, not the glass ceiling, but the ceiling of just pure audacity and winging it. The MTEX lawyers got busted winging it. They're screwed. Cammy, she made an emotional decision. She sold the emotion germs right. Demi Moore shouldn't be blamed. She was just in the single most mind-blowingly confounding scene in an episode filled with confounding scenes, and it was followed by a slow scene that gave you a lot of time to think about it. So that was my low, was Tommy and Demi Moore discussing how they're going to set every single person involved with this into a bad situation that is like prolonged and difficult and horrible and not worth it. And everyone could walk away with about $100 million or a clean resume to be a landman somewhere else, and no one wants to do it. Everyone doubles down. And it's not said, but Landman, Cammy, and basically everyone else, Cooper, Ariana, they all just doubled down on what they've originally done. And it was it could have been more creative, but it didn't suck. You know what I would say? A lot of these episodes we've gotten have been like season 5 TNG, and we just got a season 1 episode of TNG. Still really good. Slower. No action. No one got killed. This is way past violent death time for Taylor Sheridan. And we solved all these problems in the beginning of the episode just to have them rear back up. I guess, like, real life can be like that. It's hit or miss. But this was a confusing episode 5. I am very much looking forward to episode 6 because I don't feel we've broken our story. But our story is going to have to work a little bit harder. And some self-correction is probably going to happen. I expect it to happen. And if anything, Taylor Sheridan has 15 more episodes from here to satisfactorily land this thing. Although, with the 10 episodes announced, I don't know if they'll make it to that now. They may just throw one episode out the window to make up the runtime. I don't know. At this point, I would be okay with them losing one episode to end it cleanly. I don't care if it goes 9, and I don't care if they combine the last 2 episodes. If at this point, it's never going to end as well as 1923 season 1, it's never going to end as well as 1883 season only, and Landman season 2. It looks like it's going to be a good conduit to season 3, but we've got to get out of this one without taking on any more damage. We have to maintain our stakes and get to the end of the season with some kind of episodic like payoff. So, with the stakes very high and the show still pretty good, we have next week's episode to find out what happens. It should be entertaining. It should be amusing. I'm Admiral Teag. I'll be back on probably Tuesday night. I won't be around tomorrow, but I'll certainly be here on Thursday, and that's when you'll see me setting up everything for this weekend. We had an awesome episode of Star Trek last night, and we're starting a new journey this week. Next voyage, we go 3 episodes again. Next Landman, Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. An hour before that, the Pin Post has the watch party. I'll try to get a poll up for you guys next time. I'll put some Viagra on the chat. And I thank everyone. Jerm, what's going on your channel?
Tomorrow we'll have Critters 3.
I will be there. And Radioactive and Germ are going to start channels. They'll be fine. Oh, hey, Radioactive had some Crimon. That's right. Radioactive has the non-content content, and he supplied me some information I met. So there is Troy Aikman's beer. It's called 8 Elite Light Beer, and they named it after his iconic jersey number. I knew that one when you said 8. It's a light lager focusing on clean, additive-free ingredients, no corn, rice, or sweeteners, for a crisp taste with promotions featuring alongside Joe Buck. I don't like Joe Buck. He is the worst play-by-play guy in football. Germ?
He's quite annoying. But
What's he worse at, football or baseball? I'm going to say baseball.
Probably baseball.
He's terrible at baseball.
He doesn't know shit about baseball.
His worst ever game called, I'm going to say right now, Game 6 of the 1996 World Series. He was beyond confused and didn't care. And according to New York sports media, was reading a Michael Crichton book between innings. I think he only has that job because it makes him rich and his dad had it. Like he goes home and plays Dungeons and Dragons or something. I don't think he likes sports. Anyway, I knew the Sicario term was, it means sacred, right? In Spanish? Oh, it says here, it's the references the assassins who used the sica, a short curved dagger. in ancient Rome? I thought Sicario meant sacred. Let's find that one out. Guys, little language skill builder, and then we'll be out of here.
I mean, it is your YouTube channel. It can mean sacred.
I always thought it meant sacred.
Well, it's sacred.
No, it means hitman,
That's
killer,
the-
assassin. Yeah, you're right. It is referencing the Sika dagger. Hey, and the gladiators are named after the gladiolus flowers because the leaves and the swords look the same. The Hispanicus gladiolus, the Spanish sword. We got a little military history into this one. Guys, join us next time. Yeah, I was wrong. I'm a terrible Latino. I don't know Spanish to save my life. I only speak English and American. I don't speak 6 languages like Andy Garcia. Man, what a polymath. English, Spanish, American, Cuban, Mexican. It was incredible. But we'll be back next week, and I'll be back on Tuesday. We love you all, and thank you so much. And thank you, Ruby Hoof, for making Casey a member of the channel. It's good to see all of you, Miskatonic, Trek Reviewer, Buddy, Ruby, Radioactive, and Primlon, Germ with me here, Lemon Pie, John the Beagle Dad. I think I did manage to greet everyone pretty much as they came in. Hello to Simon Gehan. It's good to see you. And thank you to everyone who's been here for the show. If you're on the vertical stream, Lombardi 1969, hello. I did greet you, but hello again. I love you all. And if you watch the vertical stream, you should subscribe to my channel and watch the landscape view from now on, as the vertical is about to go away. You know her. You love her. You want to see her because she's hot. I give to you first, last, and always. It's about Sydney Sweeney. Why?
Because I can.
All right, guys. She's here to say goodnight to you. We love you all. Can I finish?